Okay, as everybody in the room knows, at our 15 plus 30 events, we pick a topic of the day. And today we're going to talk a little bit about branding. And we're going to discuss not only what branding is, maybe what it isn't, your experience with branding, maybe a story you've got about branding. And I'm going to open up to the room, but I'm going to start off talking about branding in general. And I think there's a misconception sometimes that people think branding is nothing more than your logo or getting your name out there in front of people, or your website, how you brand that. And I think it's a lot more than that. I think it's has to do with your reputation. If you've got a strong reputation and you show that, it's a lot more than just the visual. It's following it up with actually doing what you say you're going to do, and you start branding yourself as being a giver, or whatever. Same thing with networking. If you're an avid networker and you go to one or two groups or events, meetings, and you show up on a regular basis, after a while, you're branding yourself. You're branding yourself as somebody that is consistent. They go there to help, and they're not going there to sell. Versus a lot of people who go to networking meetings and they do like networking, I call them networking nomads. They're jumping around from event to event, hoping they're going to sell something. And you all have heard me say this before, that those people, I mean, the blind squirrel will get a nut once in a while, but it's really a tough way to network. So if you brand yourself as somebody that's a giver by actually showing that you are a giver, I think that it's important. And that's just one way to brand. We're going to talk about all different kinds of aspects, and we will record this and we're going to put it on our YouTube channel. And then hopefully, somebody will see this and get some benefit out of it. So if anybody else has anything they'd like to start off with, just raise your hand and I'll be happy to call on you and you can add your comment about branding. Carolyn, were you raising your hand?
I can. Reputation is part of the brand, and you kind of leaned on that a little bit by showing up. But I think of Nordstrom, and people know if you bought something there 10 years ago and try to return it, they take it because part of their brand is to make sure the customer is very happy and empower everyone that works there to make that happen. People return things that maybe they didn't even get there, but it's overall, it's more important for them to maintain that reputation. So reputation and reviews are part of your brand as well, And I know, Louise, didn't you know somebody that took it in another direction?
Yes, I have a client who's a real estate agent, and he told me that whenever he goes anywhere, whether it's an open house or a networking meeting or a meeting for real estate agents, he always dresses in the colors of his logo. So he makes sure that he's wearing his brand. And he also recommends other real estate agents to do similar things.
Yeah, I think that that's another way to brand yourself. We used to have, and Louise, you may remember this, but when I was doing face-to-face meetings, we had an insurance guy, and most insurance guys would come in a three-piece suit or at least have a tie on. This guy came in a Hawaiian shirt, and every time he came, it was a Hawaiian shirt. And the thing was, is it made him distinct. Okay. You know how many times I've said, if you're not distinct, you may become extinct, but it made him stand out. And his brand is here comes the guy in a Hawaiian shirt. Even if they didn't remember his name, they remembered he was the insurance dude and he had the Hawaiian shirt. So there's different little tips and tricks and things you can do to brand yourself that don't have to be real big. And I mean, everybody thinks of Nike and their symbol and all this. Yeah, well, that's big money branding. Okay. But there's things that I think everybody can do to brand themselves if they are looking to build their business and build their brand. So, but does anybody else have a comment or something? Okay, Michael.
Well, something you just mentioned there, Carl, made me think of what we share a lot on this podcast or in this networking thing. And that is that we're here to try and serve people. We're here to help people. We're not here to sell.
Okay, Michael, your mic went off or something. I tell you what, you try to get that back and let's revisit that. Okay, but I'm going to comment on what you were saying because I think I know where you were headed. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. The reason why I created I Refuse to Fail and the 1530 events to be different is because I want to brand ourselves as being different. I didn't want us to be the same as every other event. I want it to be a place where people can go that not going to be the same old listen to an elevator sales pitch and have people talk. And one of the requirements, as you all know, when you come to this event, we're not allowed to sell people. We're not here to sell people. We are branding ourselves as givers. Okay. And as Zig Ziglar said, that's why I have this back here. If you help enough other people, get what they want in life, you'll get what you want. And that's really the premise of what we're doing. And that's how we're branding ourselves. Okay. And so I think that's where you were leading before your mic cut out. But that's a good point. But so it can be done in different ways in different aspects. Branding is more than just your logo. Okay. As Carolyn mentioned. Okay, Louise.
Yeah, the other thing that I was thinking about is across your social media platforms, there's a lot of people that will change their pictures on Facebook versus LinkedIn or Google, but it's actually better to be consistent across your social media platforms because, again, you're spreading your brand across all the platforms.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. And the other thing is, I mean, I know people that change their businesses every 2 weeks. And you can't really, then you become branded as like the person who can't keep a job or can't keep a business. So there's negative branding too. You got to be careful, with how you, put yourself out there. So, but I think it's all about presentation, and I think it's about consistency, and doing the same things. So, somebody else have a comment they'd like to make?
Go. I mean, you just hit the word right at the end of that sentence, consistency. Get your face out there, get your brand out there, be persistent, be be in everybody's face as much as you possibly can without selling yourself. And it's funny, someone said to the comment to me the other day, I'm on a certain platform a lot of times, and they go, Santa, they're even talking about you when you're not in the room. And I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He says, oh, no, that's a good thing because you're getting your face out there, you're getting your name out there, you're stirring up enough controversy that you're creating the curiosity.
Yeah, I agree. And you're just Santa alone is branding personified. I mean, who doesn't know Santa? You got to be under a rock somewhere if you don't know, even if you don't believe in Santa, which I can't understand. But that is, really the top level of branding, I think. And it's, can't hurt you. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Who else? Okay. Chris.
Um, we're talking about being a giver and not trying to make a sale and all that stuff. And I know that making your brand in your industry is important. Like part of the Relive industry is that you help each other whether you're getting paid or not. You're helping each other in different lines, regardless if you're even connected with each other financially, because that's the importance of that brand. You help each other whether you're in another country, because that's what we do. And I think that's part of that brand. And that's very important. And that's what we do here in I Refuse to Fail, is we're helping each other, period. And that's important.
Yeah, it's a good point. And also, I mean, it even branches to legacy. Okay. What kind of legacy do you want to have? Do you want to have a legacy as somebody that gives or somebody that's always trying to take? It's much more popular. You become much more popular. And if you're trying to build know, like, and trust, you definitely want to build a legacy of being a giver and not necessarily somebody that's always selling. And when I thought about this before we did this today too, there's a saying when you're talking about dealing with employees, and it's called the yeah but. And the yeah but is a negative, okay? But it's about branding. It's like when you tell your employee, you say, "Boy, you're really doing a great job," but, and then you go into a negative. Well, all that you're doing a great job goes totally away when you go to yeah but, and now you give a negative. Those things should be separated. And I know it doesn't sound like it's part of branding, but if you're doing that constantly, nobody wants to talk to you. Okay. And if you're doing this in sales, if you're branding yourself as somebody who's trying to help somebody, you definitely don't want to say, oh, you're doing it all wrong. You don't need to be doing it that way. Let me tell you how you need to be doing it. Nobody wants to you don't want to be branded as that person. Okay. And so, there's a much better way of doing it. I actually have a story about that in one of my networking meetings. Louise was probably there, but we had a fellow who called himself a business consultant, and we used to do a brainstorming session. We draw a card, somebody would get up and tell us what issues they might be having in their business. And this young lady got up and she was talking about whatever the issue was. And this person's name was Nick. He got up and he started off, you're just doing it all wrong. Let me tell you what you're doing wrong. Why on earth would you do this? And this was in front of 30 to 40 people, right? Not only did it embarrass her, it was everything that I could do to keep myself professional and not jump over the table and grab this guy. So, after we got done, and I didn't say anything to him, I said, well, Nick, if you don't have anything positive to contribute, we're going to move on. And we went on. Well, he did not brand himself very well, I don't think. Who wants to deal with that type person? So it's about reputation. It's how you present yourself. It's, Chris had a question before about a group they're in where maybe there might be a bunch of younger people coming in, and how are they going to overcome that? Well, there are ways you overcome that. There's ways that you can turn negatives into positive with people in a large group or in a one-to-one. So I think that branding is very important. And I think that personally, I think that if you don't stand out, okay, over your competition, you're going to get lost in the crowd. You have to be something different than the other people. You have to be distinct, or you might become extinct in what you do. I don't care if it's a realtor, or doesn't matter what you think your competition is. You've got to stand out where you don't have competition. And you do that by branding yourself. And I just think that everybody needs to do that. Think of something that can make you stand out and make you memorable, because that's where you're going to start your branding. It's not that you're going to be Tony Robbins, and everybody knows the name, but who knows, at some point you might become that. I mean, you just have to start somewhere. So anyway, that's my take on it. If we have any final comments on it, or anybody else wants to contribute, Carolyn?
I just happen to, I carry all these things in my wallet, depending if whether I'm volunteering here, or or this one, or, wear your name tag. Wear something that can spark a conversation. Even if the very least, they'll call you, strangers will start calling you by name when you don't know them, and they're being cute, but it's a great and easy icebreaker to, like, what does that mean? What is that? This one of them's for our church. It's like, oh, I didn't know you went there. And we have events there. We can invite people in. So wear it. Put the words right on you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, so there's different ways of doing it, but it isn't always a visual. A lot of it can be on how you carry yourself and what you say and what you do. Okay, so did you have something, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to say my plan for the next year, I'm going to be rebranding. So, because I started with fitness industry, and then as I go on, I work with everybody except the fitness industry. But the latest thing is, I still believe the fitness industry needs what I do, speaking and speech coaching, but there's more demand among student athletes. So that's going to be the relaunch. If you're checking me on Facebook, I don't even know, on LinkedIn, most of my material has been in the student athlete space, because they can be paid now for their name, image, and like, they can be paid for anything, quite frankly. They're not getting speaker training. So that's going to be the thing. And the rebrand is going to be toward that. What somebody told me that's really important, you can't do it in stages. You can't rebrand piece by piece, like change your logo, then change your color, then change your name, and change a few things. That was what I would have done had I not gotten the right advice. I want to pass that along. So this is not just my wisdom, but I learned it. If you're going to rebrand, it has to be a kaboom. It can't be done in stages. Other thing on branding, sometimes people brand you, whether you like it or not. I think I'm better known for the fact I live in Peru than for me being a speaking coach.
Yeah,
Got to work on that.
no, I know, I agree with you, but see, that's what makes you unique or different, right? That's what they remember, because it is a little
Yes.
bit different. So you might even be able to play with that to make it,
Yes.
take that. If you look at it as a negative, say, hey, I'm the Peru guy that, just
Well,
take that negative and turn it into a positive.
Exactly. That's got to be part of the branding is everything. It's a lot of my own credentials that I'm leaving out. So I'm going to put more just my name than fit presenter. But you got to put a lot of my credentials I'm not putting in because it's kind of, oh, by the way, I also have a degree in this. And by the way, I did that. It's got to be all part of that. I came here to be a language teacher. So from language teaching to public speaking, it's got to be all in there. So that's going to be part of the brand as well.
Yeah.
Take that negative, turn into a positive. And if you didn't notice, my microphone this week compared to the past
Your microphone is much better.
because I finally splurged 25 solos, which is about a little less than $8, and got a USB port so I could plug in my camera and my microphone at the same time. So this is a turn. I've turned the corner so much today, and I'm so glad this is being recorded.
Yeah, great. And something else that made me think of when you were talking is that this is a shameless promotion for our group, but everybody that's in our group, the people are in here today, whether they commented or not, there's more people in the room, by the way, than what's on camera. We're all here to help people. Okay. So if there's anybody out there that just wants to experience this, we welcome you to come to it. You can go to IRefusetoFail.com and check it out. I mean, it's a little shameless plug for our group, but who knows? Somebody might see this and say, hey, I'd like to be a part of that. And it's not going to cost you a red cent to show up. So, we'd love to have other people, and maybe you'll have something to contribute that we can use. I mean, that's why we're all here. We're here helping each other. So, with that said, I think that we've pretty much beat this one to death. So, hopefully we're branding ourselves well. And so anyway, I'm going to stop the recording and I'll post this and I'll put it on the YouTube channel, the I Refuse to Fail YouTube channel. And, you all can grab it. And if you don't mind, I'd like for you to repost these or post it out there so other people can take advantage of it and might get us more people in to help each other. So I'm going to stop the recording